Another absolutely disgraceful, pitiful, no explanation. What the hell is going on? Somebody explain this to me like I'm a 6-year old. Sabotage once again by the Indiana Fever. Once again by the organization. And it all falls on top to bottom, the head coach, and it trickles down. And I can't take it anymore. I cannot take it anymore. The just lack of regard for one Caitlin Clark. How this poor player, how this poor young talented girl is being absolutely treated. I cannot for the life of me stand it anymore. I'm at the point where it's almost as though, the shit's got to hit the fan. It's got to hit the fan, and that's where we start, hopefully in a clean way, on this Thursday edition of On Cue. But I can't do it anymore. Rich Quinones here. Hope you guys have a good sports Wednesday and you're enjoying your Thursday morning. Don't forget, we're on the YouTube channel. We're all over the multiple platforms. We'll get into that in a couple moments, but enough is enough. Enough is enough. I can't take it anymore. I cannot deal with incompetence. I cannot deal with sabotage. I cannot deal with narcissistic, psychotic behavior. And that's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm seeing. Last night, Caitlin Clark returns for Indiana. Limited action, okay, against the Sparks last night. So I'm watching a little WNBA, went for a little run, played around with Kiki a little bit, got her to settle down, made a nice little fresh cup of coffee. Here we go. I'm watching a little double dip. Didn't put any shekels on anything, mind you. And I'm sitting back and I'm relaxing. And I'm watching an absolute disgrace, not only of a performance by the Indiana Fever as a whole, but also their incompetent head up her ass head coach. Explain to me in this world, please explain to me in this world how you allow the player to play 6-5-2, 3 minutes total, 15 minutes. And I'll get into the back issue. But the fact that the Sparks routed the Fever last night, 106-92. Clark plays 15 minutes. She scores 9 points. I get it. No Boston as well. It was an easy path and an easy win for LA. There was no rim protector. There was no rebounder. But you can't tell me, watching last night's game, if you follow this situation, if you have followed what's going on with the Indiana Fever, if you followed what's going on with this head coach, if you followed the perception, the narrative, the agenda against one Caitlin Clark, you cannot tell me that this is not a flat-out sabotage. And enough is enough. You have to draw the line. Enough is enough. It's getting to the point right now where it's absurd. It's disgraceful. You are ruining her career. They are flat out going out of their way to ruin her career. It's beyond sabotage at this point. It's beyond malpractice. It's almost like unlawful. Now, I'm not going to get Congress involved, but the bottom line is this. It's straight sabotage. You want to talk to me about back issues and load management? How in the world can you expect a player of her caliber to get in a rhythm, in a groove, and go off when it's a couple minutes here and a couple minutes there, and then all of a sudden she's benched, then it's a turnover, then she's benched, then it's a 2-minute spurt here. She played more than 3 minutes. I think 3 minutes and 10 or 12 seconds was her longest time on the floor. How can you expect a rhythm shooter, a player of her caliber, to get in any type of rhythm or rhyme? There's one solution, period. There is one solution left because they're not going to fire the head coach. The only solution, and this goes totally against Caitlin Clark's character, she needs to come out and publicly call out the organization and demand a trade. She needs to flat out call out the organization. She's not going to do it. She's not going to do it. But she needs to flat out call them out from top to bottom. You are wasting my frigging career. Get me the hell out of here. It was so blatant. And you had all the eyeballs last night because you knew it was a return. And there's going to be more eyeballs fixated on her because of what? The physicality, the nature of what's going on the floor. I'm telling you, if she does not get out of there, if she does not force a trade, and I don't even know if it's going to make sense at this point, with another team, but her career is going to be cooked. Her career is going to be cooked. It's going to be such a sad tale. It's going to be a 30 for 30. What a bunch of low-brow, low-class jackasses running the show in Indiana with the Fever. 60 minutes, 9 points. Why the hell did you even play her last night? I mean, my God. You are basically taking the joy out of watching her play because the joy of playing is being taken out of her. We've all played sports. We know basketball. We understand load management and minutes restriction, and it's such an easy out. But you can't allow someone, you playing in short bursts, you're never going to get a rhythm. You're never going to, she wants to play every minute. She does. What the hell are they doing with that medical staff? If you think that's better on your back, go out there for one, go out there for two, then go to the bike, get your fanny on the bike and do what I'm doing right now in the air? No, it's not. It's not. It's a joke. It's a joke what they're doing. This head coach has her head so far up her ass, she has made it blatantly known she cannot stand this kid. She has no business coaching this franchise. She's got no business coaching this team. None. None whatsoever. And everyone can see it. You don't need to be astute basketball fan or knowledgeable reporter or journalist or media member. It's utterly ridiculous. It's embarrassing what you're seeing. And there's no other question. Look, obviously, no Boston last night, so the Sparks basically live in the lane. You didn't have a rim protector. Okay, that makes sense. Just score 60 friggin' points in the paint. 14 while outscoring them in the second quarter. And that was the burst, 27-16. Basketball is all about runs. It's a make or miss league. They also were 23 of 29 in that restricted area. They shot the ball well from the floor. They shot the ball from beyond the arc. And then you saw in that game down 20, Caitlin Clark's teammates didn't give a shit anymore. So this is what you get. You get a disjointed, discombobulated, horrible offense, and the star player scores 9 points, and the coach is trying to go out of your way. The organization is trying to go out of your way to completely screw you over. Enough already. Like, you just call out the organization. Call them out. Just honestly, if you're Caitlin Clark, I know it goes against everything, your character, how you are, the way you handle yourself, the way you have composure. Call out the friggin' organization because they need something to wake them up. Something to get this kid out of there so she can have a friggin' career, because this ain't it. This is not it. 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 2. Come out. I mean, we know right now whose team it is. It's Mitchell's. And the coach has made it clear. So then trade me. Get me the hell out of here. Get me out of here. If she's not available tonight, then why the hell did you even play her last night? Then let her sit. And if you're going to play her, you don't play her for 15 minutes. You keep her out on the floor at least for 22, 23, 24 minutes. If she's not available, why are you playing 9 minutes in the friggin' first half? I've never in my life on any level. It's beyond malpractice. I don't even give a shit anymore about the friggin' the players hating her, the flawed fraud of the voting. Nobody likes this girl. It's like, what are we doing? Seriously. What are we doing? It makes no sense. There's no explanation to it. It's got to be the most annoyingest thing I'm witnessing from behind the mic in years. and covering sports because there's no answer to it. But I've got the solution, which is not going to happen. Do you understand what happens when you do this to a player who's got a great talent? When you do this to a player, they lose confidence. They get frustrated. They start to become paranoid, like I am right now. They start to mail it in. They lose interest. They're not engaged. And look, I get it. She had some turnovers. Okay. But again, you're benching her after one turner. You turn around, Mitchell or Billings have a turnover. And guess what? You allow them to play through it. You allow them to play through it. I mean, I watched that game. I watched all the games last night. But I was glued to the tube watching that game, my little fresh roasted coffee while Kiki was sleeping, having little puppy dreams. And I'm taking my notes and I'm jotting down and I'm doing a research. I saw the one play, Clark friggin' went right down the boulevard, wrapped around, dribbled right around a couple defenders, dropped it off, and you still can't handle the friggin' pass and turnover. You got to listen to these jackass commentators taking shots at her last night during the game as well. And she's still getting banged around. It wasn't as pronounced. And I'm not saying she played well last night. She didn't. But it's malpractice. Every part of her game, the minutia, every minute she's playing or not, it's going to be under a microscope. And the Indiana Fever, they did this to her. She did not bring this on. They brought this to her doorstep. The head coach, who I'm going to get into in a second, and the GM, who both, again, like I said, had their heads up their culos. I'm telling you right now, this is an embarrassment. This team's not going anywhere, and I don't care about the record. You know, you lost to a bad team last night, who, oh, by the way, who played without their best player. So I'm trying to sit back last night, have my little coffee, have my little fresh roast, a little hot toddy, watch these games, and like I said, Kiki's sleeping like a little puppy angel, counting little doggy dreams and sheep. And on a Wednesday night, I'm tuning in, little double dip. Little Lynx and Son, good game. McBride, man, she's tough. I mean, she's playing the guard position at a high level. What's she, 33, 34? Notre Dame aside, my hatred for Notre Dame. And then all right, here we go. Maybe sneak in a quick little Law and Order replay. Because, we love Captain Sergeant Benson, right? And then I start watching this game. And I'm excited because I wanted to see what she can do. I wanted to see, how she was going to respond, how the players were going to respond, the ebb and flow, how the game was going to be officiated, and what the coach was going to do as far as lineups. And I saw garbage. I saw a team that came in having dropped, I believe, 5 of 6. And after the first quarter, they're hanging tough. And I'm like, okay, here we go. She played 2 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever the hell it was. And then you get the run in the second by LA, and this is what happens. And you're shooting 51% from the floor, 35% or 45% from beyond the arc, and you smack around the Fever. And as much as I want to give credit to them, what the hell is this head coach doing? Every time the camera panned over to the bench and I saw Stephanie White, I just cringed. I just look at this woman, I'm like, I don't like you. I don't like anything you represent, as far as a basketball standpoint, what you stand for from a basketball standpoint. I don't give a shit about the outside stuff. Whatever the hell you do, I don't care. I'm talking about X's and O's coaching. You suck. You should not be a coach. You should have been fired. I mean, do you want to go back to Vanderbilt? You want to talk about that for a minute? You either rest her or you let her go out there and play 25 minutes. But this 2 minutes crap. Are you kidding me? Make up your mind already. It's like you're going out for a long time. Do you want to marry me? Do you not want to marry me? Do you want to live together? Do you not want to live together? Do you want to see me exclusively? Do you want to date other people? What the hell? That can drive somebody mad. And we've all been there. When are you going to ask me to marry you? When are you going to? And then I ask, and all of a sudden, oh, shit, I don't know what to do now. Here's the ring. See you. Pack up the bags. Like, I can't take it anymore. It's so bad. It's malpractice from every level. The back and forth. And I don't know about these trade rumors, if they're true or not. This is a team that now belongs to Mitchell. And I got to watch the ISO ball. It is no longer Caitlin Clark's team. It's not. So if the organization had an ounce, a little bit of a soul, a little bit of a soul in them, and they wanted to do right by somebody, trade her before you ruin her career, before she decides, I'm not playing basketball anymore. Thanks a lot, dickheads. I appreciate it. Like, honestly, and pardon me for the language, but I'm just beyond fired up today. I'm beyond fired up. I'm not as fired up as Congress that wants to step in, but I'm just beyond fired up because I've never seen anything like this before. I've never seen anything like this before. It's on purpose. There's no secrets. There's no denying it. Everyone can see it. But no one's got the balls really to turn around on the floor, on the team, and call out the organization. And Caitlin Clark is the only one that can save Caitlin Clark. And she's not going to do it because it's not who she is or how she was raised. But if that was me, I don't care at this point. Because do you realize every time you pull me from the game, every time you try to micromanage, every time you kind of throw this load restriction, minutes rest nonsense, garbage in my direction, you know what you're doing? You're basically just lessening my stats. You are hurting my stats. You are purposely sabotaging my career. She'll never, ever win an MVP in this league because they will never, ever give her the opportunity to get it done on the floor. They are taking that away from her. That I have a problem with. That I have a problem with that. I really do. And I understand no Boston last night. The Sparks took advantage of it. I understand no Plum last night. They still won the game. I get all that. You're missing your leading scorer in Kelsey Plum, and Boston wasn't there to clean up the glass and the mistakes on the back line. And, you know, Mitchell did what she did, the 29, but it's her team. It's her team. The GM knows it. The head coach knows it. Her teammates know it. And the fans know it. And the media knows it. Then why the hell do you still have this girl on the roster? Trade her. They're not going to do it because she's still a draw, which means they're using her. And that I have a problem with. You ruined a friggin' great thing. You did. Stephanie White, you just shit all over a fan base, and you basically are sucking the love out of the game for Caitlin Clark. Congrats. Maybe there was something to be said about your hideous tenure at Vanderbilt and your narcissistic, psychotic ways. But hey, you win. You win. Because anytime you deal with a person with that type of personality, those types of traits, lack of morals, lack of character, you know, you can't beat them. You can't defeat them. You can't. You can't. I saw a head coach that wasn't even trying to win last night. I get on these coaches in the NFL and the NBA for the friggin' load management, for the tanking and all this other crap and shit. What did we see last night? Don't you want to put the best five on the floor? Don't you want to keep them out on the floor? Don't you want arguably the best player in the sport and obviously on your team, and you want to debate Mitchell, whatever. But come on, what are we doing? 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, turnover, bench, see ya, good night, lose by 14. It's bad. This is bad for the sport. This is bad for the WNBA. This is bad for women's basketball because the product right now, it's garbage. You've got talent, but it's garbage as a whole. So you would think if I want to keep those eyeballs coming, if I want to engage fans, I want to have my best player on the floor. I get it. Load management aside, if she's not going to play tonight, then you shouldn't even played her last night. Because it's almost as though you did it on purpose to spite her. You did it on purpose just to spite her. Just to like dick around with her, to screw with her, to just mentally play games. How the hell do you sit there 2-3 minute spurts for conditioning? Stop. She even said it herself. It's hard when you're playing 3 minutes, sub out, 3 minutes, 3 minutes in, you're on the bench. You can't get into a flow of the game. You can't work up a sweat. You can't find your rhythm. You can't find your touch. You're not going to get you're not going to get your touches. You're not going to get your shots. And she knows she didn't play well last night, but again, that's not all on her, because every time you make a mistake, or I'm like, you know what, 2 minutes is up, here we go. Last night was everything wrong with the WNBA. Last night was everything wrong with their mentality and their line of thinking, especially the Indiana Fever, and how that organization is run from top to bottom. Because you've got a GM just as clueless as a head coach. I don't even know what the hell they were doing last night. I don't. Hall was playing, 10 minutes? Billings, 9 minutes. Allen, 9 minutes. Mitchell, 17 minutes. Clark, 10 minutes. This was, again, you're talking now in the half. Like, it made no sense. This woman has no idea what the hell she's doing as a head coach. And no one really within has the balls to call her out, because they're not going to. She is ill-equipped to be a head coach. Get rid of them all. Like, blow it up. Blow it up. Get rid of them all. Get rid of them all from top to bottom in the organization. You're ruining it. You're ruining a great fan base, because they love basketball in Indiana. They love it. They absolutely love it. And what are you doing? You're robbing them of it, because you're a jackass. I mean, the trade deadline in the WNBA, it can't come fast enough. It's August 2nd, 3 o'clock. I'm looking around. You watched last night, put it under a microscope. 6 minutes in the first, 5 minutes in the second, 2 minutes in the third, 3 minutes in the fourth. What? And the problem, too, is you can't afford to keep Mitchell and Cunningham. You can't let them walk next year and get nothing in return. So if you really sit there and you prefer Mitchell over Caitlin Clark, trade her. But they're not going to do it, because they are out to just sabotage her. They are out for blood. They genuinely hate this kid. And I feel bad. I really do. I feel bad, because you don't deserve that. You don't. You don't deserve that. You want to sit there and you want to debate her merits as a player and compare her to other players in the league, and you want to come back at me and sit there and say, well, maybe there's credence, 11, but no, man, it's all petty jealousy and hate. And this is why I said this last week: take your ball and go somewhere else, and no one's going to have a problem with it. They're really not. They're going to say, congratulations, good for you. You should have done this a while ago, because the organization is not cut out. The organization is not fit. The organization is complicit in this nonsense. They are complicit. It's malpractice. It's flat out sabotage, man. You're creating a hostile work environment. And if you think I'm going overboard by this, you don't know. You don't know shit. You don't. You don't follow sports. You don't cover sports. You don't know this kind of stuff. It's clear as day what they're doing, and we know how this ends. We know how this ends. You get it to a point where you literally forced a player to sit there and say, I don't want to do this anymore. The WNBA, she's being weaponized. She's being weaponized. All this kid wants to do is play basketball. That's it. But you have jackasses out there that want to talk black and white. You've got jackasses out there that want to talk about, gay or straight. You've got jackasses out there that don't even want to look at her value on the floor, her play. You want to suck the life out of her and bring in all these other little variables into the topic of conversation that have no bearing on what she does on the floor. I don't care. Straight, not black, white, up, down, left, right. I don't care. She is arguably the face of the league. She is one of the best, if not the best players in the league when she's at full strength, healthy, and engaged, and her teammates are trying to bail her out and help her. Instead of last night missing 16 bunnies in a row. Come on, stop. Stop, stop, stop. She's not the problem. They're getting their asses handed to them when she's not on the floor. It is a bad look by the league. It is a horrible look, but no one has the balls, the stones to step up and say enough is enough. They won't do it. The only person that can do it is the person who's being treated poorly. and that's the player. That's Caitlin Clark. She's the only one that has this power right now. Her career is in jeopardy. Her career is in danger. Call out the organization. Call them out where they have no choice but to trade you. Because you know why? No one's going to sit there and say you're a malcontent, you're a diva, you're entitled. We know what's going on. We all see it. We all see it. And those that sit there and say, I can't believe she's so entitled, she forced her way. Man, you're missing the boat. You're blind. You're narrow-minded. Have you watched what's going on? Have you watched how they officiate against her? How the refs treat her? How the players treat her? How her teammates don't play hard for her? How the coaching staff friggin' undermines her? How the head coach is basically sabotaging her on purpose? How the league sits there and say, we're not going to have this kid succeed. We're going to do everything in our power to make sure she falls flat on her ass. That's all they're looking to do. That's all. Because they want to sit there and say, we told you so. She's not that good. She's not that good. She got a little push. She got a little push. She can't handle the pressure. She can't handle it. She can't. She's not tough enough. I just see it now. I see it now. That's the narrative. Oh, she's going to take her ball and go home. I don't blame her. There's no, if that's the case, there's absolutely no shame in that, because what else is there to do? You sit there, you work at a job, okay? You work at a job, and your job treats you poorly, but yet you still put up the numbers at work. You still deliver at work. You still give an honest effort. You do everything that is asked of you. You do everything that is asked of you. And they still mistreat you. They still treat you like this. They still make it very hard for you to get up and want to clock in and clock out. That's what they're doing to Caitlin Clark. And no one in the organization cares, because they're the ones doing it. They're the ones that are pulling the strings, man. And it's sad to watch. It really is. It's sad to watch, because the player doesn't have to deal with that. And she shouldn't have to deal with it. And I'm telling you right now, this head coach, she's friggin' psychotic. She is psychotic. This is diabolical shit. This really is. This is diabolical shit. It is. It's mind games at the worst. It's to the point where it's beyond mind games. It's like, you got to be kidding me. Like going out of your way. I'm spiting you. I am going to spite you, and I don't care. There's nothing you can say or do about it. You're just going to sit back and take it. No. The hell with that. No. Should not have to take it anymore. Shouldn't it? Got a lot of comments coming in. I want to get to them. She shouldn't have to take it anymore. She shouldn't. Nobody should have to take that. You're at work and you got a manager that keeps sticking it to you, making you stay late, come early, not pay you overtime, really making your job harder than it has to be, messing around when you need off, when you need a day to take care of the kids, or you got to go to the doctors, or it's a holiday, and every time it's like, no, you can't leave. They got total control over her. We've all had those jobs before. You let people manipulate you. And then what they do is they wait. They wait for you to turn around and quit. And that means they won. And at this point, at this juncture, it's not even taking the ball and going home. Call them friggin' out and say enough is enough. They are fucking with her career and livelihood. It's exactly what they're doing. It's exactly what they're doing. You got to put an end to this nonsense. This head coach, I'm telling you, I've never seen it in my life. Never seen it in my life. Senny chimes in, this is a mess, is a ridiculous cue. It's how they're going to manage her minutes. They don't play her. I don't understand this. Completely unnecessary to divide them instead of building on the chemistry. Coach chimes in, Q, you hit the nail right on the head. I've never seen you this fired up. It's Kelsey Mitchell's team. Coach has made it clear by who she's putting on the floor, not just today, but all season. Look at the front office with the Supermax. We can pretend it's Caitlin Clark's team, but as you said, Rich, you nailed it. It's not. Lee chimes in, CC forced to play only 3 minutes. Are you kidding me, Q? This is absolutely ridiculous. This is ugly. It's a slow and boring game to watch last night. Even when she's in, she seems mentally checked out. This is exactly what you talked about last week. It's not her team anymore. It's not. Stephanie White played 10 different players in the first quarter. Why? It's frustrating, man, because I cover sports, I cover basketball, and you guys know I call a lot of games. Various leagues, stateside and overseas. And I see frustration from players when coaches are out there and there's a fear of, if I turn the ball over, I'm going to get pulled. Or the inability to ride the hot hand. Or the inability or the lack thereof to want to stick with a player after a mistake, after a turnover. And understanding if I'm 3 or 4 early on in the game, I'm hot, keep me in. Keep me in. And the other thing that really bothers me, and I've been really looking at this over the last several weeks, and you guys are probably thinking, I'm crazy. I'm crazy for this. But I'm going to take you down a rabbit hole that few want to go down with me. When you look at some of her games, the fact that she can easily be on the way to the 25, the 28, the 30-plus point explosion. Go look at how many times she subbed out of a freaking game just to avoid getting that double-double. Just to avoid getting that double-double. It's sabotage, and you can't tell me otherwise. It's sabotage, and you can't tell me otherwise. It is beyond malpractice. Margaret chimes in. Always good to hear from her. We're the medical staff and their duty of care. This is no way to play an injured player who runs a player hot and cold. It's a great point. That's the worst thing for a back. Get out there, then you tighten up. Get out there, then you tighten. You gotta let her warm up a little bit, work up a sweat, let the body go, and here we go. That's a great point. I don't know what staff does that. I have no idea what coaching staff allows that and does it. Well, obviously we do. We know exactly. This coach is such a jackass. She'll sit there and waste a friggin' or a piss poor challenge, a 50-50 call on a bench player. On a role player. And then you watch your superstar get tackled. Like we're watching Sunday Night Football. And there's no call. You don't even think about it. You don't even want to challenge it. She hates this kid. And I give Caitlin Clark a lot of credit because she's a bigger person than I would have been. I would have basically said, F you, I'm done. I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. I am not doing this anymore. It's not worth it. I'll make my millions. I'll go overseas. I'll start my own league. Or I'm going to call you the frig out and expose you for who you really are. Hell, look what happened when she coached in college. And the toxic environment that she created at Vanderbilt. Having players quit. Having to go see therapists. Having breakdowns. But hell, let her, handle Caitlin Clark. Yeah. A good coach. Good motivator. Yeah. We always talk about leader of men, motivator of men. Yeah, she's an inspiration. She inspires. Yeah, I admire her. Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. Definitely. You want young girls to go out there and play. You definitely want her to coach them up. Absolutely. Absolutely. You want to build around Mitchell, build around Mitchell. That's an organizational choice. But then trade her. Trade her. Because you're seeing it. You're seeing it. Players that love the game and have a passion for the game, you see that little spark, right? The little twinkle, the glimmer, man. They're smiling. All you see now is frustration. All you see now is just, Like, the joy has been zapped. And a year or so ago, 2 years ago, I mean, even when she was in college and everyone's watching, everyone was like, man, this girl can play. Burst on the scene in WNBA, joy to watch, all the fannies, the eyeballs. And for some, I don't know, is Stephanie White getting paid on the side? I don't know. I have no idea. Is it her life's mission to basically just screw Caitlin Clark? Is it her life's mission to basically just ruin her career before it's really even started? Is it her life's mission to just suck the soul out of these players and make them miserable and frustrated? Because when you're a player and you're a great player and a star player and you realize, your minutes are cut or you're getting benched or you're being dicked around, it affects your mental psyche. It does. It affects you psychologically, mentally, spiritually. It weighs on you. Yesterday we talked about Messi having the burden and the stress of the country of his shoulders and how you handle that, which pales into comparison to today's topic. But if we take it, if we kind of peel back the onion a little bit and slice it up a little bit, you have expectations when you're the face of a league and a franchise player. And when you deliver, you're doing your job. The organization should embrace that. An entity, in this case, the league, the WNBA, should embrace that. They are doing the complete opposite. I mean, you got Vance Luton playing point guard. It's just bad. It's beyond sabotage. Like, are you going to tell me that Raven Johnson is the team's true point guard? And the GM, who is billed as bringing all this sports executive experience to Indiana, and Cox had all these great roles and with other organizations, Phoenix and Houston and Dallas. And here we go. You're responsible for a GM overseeing everything going on within the roster construction, the day-to-day operations. Here we go. Well, this is what you got. You got a GM, you got owners, and you got a head coach. They're all friggin' narcissists. And they sit back and they sip their coffee and they kind of just smile and they take time to convince the victims that we care. We love you. We're doing what's right for you. You're on a minutes restriction, load management. Okay. All they do is placate and they mess with you mentally. It's a form of abuse. It's gaslighting. It's insulting. It's flat out mean. It's typical narcissist behavior. It's psychotic. We know somebody who's like that. We have someone like that in our family. Maybe you're married to somebody like that. Maybe you dated somebody like that. Who the fuck wants to be around somebody like that? Nobody. Nobody wants to be around somebody like that. Because they just suck the life out of you. They drain you of your energy, of your passion, of your love, your desire, your zest. That's why I think it's paramount. She's got to come out. Call them out. What is the worst that happens? You get a bunch of jackass talking heads on the air. See? She can. We know the truth. We all know the truth. So at this point, call them out. Call them out. Because anyone who has any ounce of intelligence, anyone can see what's going on. Anyone can see what's going on. And I'm not, you're not a whistleblower. This is not, your big corporation because everyone's going to scurry like a bunch of friggin' rats. Titanic hits the iceberg and the first thing to happen is what? The rats start to scurry. They want to get the hell off of there. That's not what I'm saying. It's not whistleblowing on what? We see what's going on. Like the eye test. You ever hear that? The eye test. It doesn't lie. The eyes, in this case, they don't lie. And you know what they're telling me? They're telling me that you've got an organization that is taking the golden goose and they're shitting all over it. And they're smiling while they're doing it. Now it's time for the golden goose to not, be as nice. to not smile back, to not be that, classy young lady. Bite the frig back. Call him out. Call him out. Bark at him. Call him out. Because the trade deadline's right. You should have kept her in LA. And the other thing that is, and no one, again, I haven't heard one person bring this up. And if you have, I apologize and thank you. You also know what's happening when you start to play favorites. And because we know this league is already petty and there's jealousy among these players. But Mitchell is a good player. She's a talented player. She won't even look at Caitlin Clark. She won't. She won't. She just won't. It's ISO, dribble. I mean, it's bad basketball, but that is also the environment that the head coach is creating. That is dangerous. That is extremely, extremely dangerous. That's the environment the coach is saying. Kay Nessing chimes in, is she a victim? Is she allows the abuse to continue? Look, I think right now, if it's a great question, like if you just joined me, what I talked about 35 minutes ago was it's malpractice what we're seeing. And it's deliberate action of the organization to sabotage her career. It's bad enough that everything Caitlin Clark does is under the microscope. Everything. And after a while, you probably get tired of it, but that's the lot in life. The talent, the fame, the money, the accolades, the spotlight. But after a while, and it's not even about, Congress coming into play. Congress worry about other stuff. But yeah, after a while, it is as though she is a victim because it's almost like a form of bullying. It really is. And I mentioned this several times on the air. I don't care white, black, yellow, green. I don't care what color she is. I don't care what her sexual preference are. I see a great basketball player that is getting fucked over. That's what I say. Excuse my language. I'm just heated on a Thursday. That's what I see. I see a talented basketball player, okay? A very talented basketball player that is getting screwed over. And I don't know. Look, her family knows it. Her circle knows it. Her friends know it. Maybe the teammate she's really close to, maybe they know it. The agent knows it. The fans know it. The media that doesn't want to push their own narrative or agenda, the astute, knowledgeable, smart media, they know it. So now it's time. You got 1,000 people in your corner. Do it. Do it. Do it. Sometimes you just got to say enough is enough, man, because if you continue down this road, this path, it's, what's the definition of insanity? You're doing the same thing over and over and over, and you're expecting a different result. So every time we watch, right? Every time we sit and we come back on the air and do an on-cue show, do a show, or we're watching the WNBA, or something's a highlight, I mean, it's not changing. And I can understand why she's not happy with the sub patterns because her coach has her head up her ass. But that's a diplomatic way she's saying it. It's hard to play 3 minutes out, 3 minutes. Now, here's the other problem with that. The leverage, the card she holds is after this season, she can do what she wants. I don't care about breaking. She can do whatever the hell she wants to do. If she really wanted to. Right now, I'm curious to see what goes on over the next several games that she plays. And you watch. If it's the same pattern, then you give it, 2-3 more games? But if I'm Caitlin Clark right now, I have to voice my opinion and my disdain. And she's being very diplomatic about it. Got a couple good looks. Some of them didn't go down. I should have, had a more feel of the game. She didn't get a feel of the game because there's no rhythm or rhyme. No player can. No player can. It's like a fighter coming out cold. No sweat. He wasn't hitting the mitts before that, opening round. It's going to take him a round or two to warm up. She's a rhythm player. She's a rhythm shooter. First couple shots fall, she's in rhythm. She's good to go. And they still try to ice her out. They still try to bench her. They still sub her out. It's pathetic. It is. It really is. Someone on Caitlin's team, family manager, has got to see what's going on. They do, but they're not going to do anything. And this is why it's interesting that Congress wanted to get their hand in the cookie jar with this, which is funny because it's like, hey, I got news for you. Even Congress can't save Caitlin Clark. Congress cannot save Caitlin Clark. Congress cannot save Caitlin Clark. Talking heads cannot save Caitlin Clark. The media that is objectively reporting on her cannot save Cece. Her teammates can't save her. Her family can't save her. The only one that can save Caitlin Clark's career right now is Caitlin Clark. She's the only one. Because when it's out of your control, sometimes you got to take back control. And it's very hard to do. It is very hard to do, especially when you're put in a bad situation. It takes guts. It takes guts. It takes guts to walk away when you're being manipulated, or you're in a bad relationship, or an abusive relationship, or a hostile work environment where you're afraid you might lose your job, you might lose your pension. It takes guts. You got to have that epiphany. You got to have that aberration. You got to look in the mirror and you got to have a courageous conversation with yourself. And you say, enough is enough. Enough is enough. It is a toxic, not hazardous, but it is a toxic work environment. My man Reese from Philly, the Red Dragon, Clark is screwed. Evil does not give up until it's destroyed. There is no scenario where we see Iowa Clark. Too many demons. That's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. It really is, because there are some players you really just love watching. And she got used. I mean, that's really it. She got used. I can't take this league serious. I can't take these players serious. Not when you got a player setting up all these players for layups and you're missing bunnies. 4 consecutive times you're down by 20 and you miss like 5 in a row. Are you friggin' kidding me? You had a 4-on-1. Make the friggin' bucket. I can't take you serious. I can't. They used her. They flat out used her. The WNBA used her. And the head coach loves it. The head coach is smiling right now. We got blown out by one of the worst teams in the league. Oh, and we had our star player on the floor. Get out of here, you jerk off. Seriously, get out of here with that mentality and that mindset. Please stop. So let's just go back for a second. The WNBA, in its infinite wisdom, because you can't make this up. I mean, this is going to be in the history books. There's going to be business courses, the do's and don'ts, the pros and cons, like the history lesson, the psychology of sports and business management. You had a league that no one gave a shit about until a player came in of Caitlin Clark's stature, who, oh, by the way, sold out arenas, helped brokered broadcast deals, TV ratings that tripled, and a whole new generation of fans, young girls first and foremost, watching the sport, going to the arena, buying merchandise, buying tickets, watching her on eyeballs, getting the ratings. And what do? They treat her like shit. They treat her like garbage. They used her up and they just discarded her. Now it's her turn to turn around and say, fuck you. I'm not going to take it anymore. I am not going to deal with this anymore. And yes, I'm sorry again that I dropped the F-bomb. I rarely do, but I'm at the point where this is just malpractice at its finest form. And it's got to end. And people got to start, in this situation, you got to start taking sides and a stand. You have to. You have to. I cannot wait until she turns around. Even the dog's getting fired up. I cannot wait until she turns around and decides I'm starting my own league. I can't wait. I cannot wait. I cannot wait until she starts poaching players from the WNBA the ones that really back her, the ones that want to be a part of what she's doing. And she goes out and she creates the CCL League. I cannot wait. And she buries the WNBA. Then the WNBA is going to be friggin' cooked. They're going to be cooked. And then you got the head coach out of a job, begging Caitlin Clark, put me on the payroll, put me somewhere in the organization. Yeah, I got a job for you. I got a job for you. Yeah, and it ain't X's and O's. It's bad, folks. It's bad. It really is. It's beyond sabotage. And the product itself, you're supposed to placate to the talent, right? When you have superstars, I'm not saying, kiss their fannies. That's not what I'm suggesting. When you have a good thing, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Right? Remember that expression? Everyone was told that expression when they were younger. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Don't touch it. Leave it alone. Don't play with it. Leave it alone. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. But they're not doing that. They're not doing that. And the reality is, just like I said the other day, you've got Caitlin Clark, who's a square peg, and you got the WNBA that's a round hole. It does not fit. It doesn't. It doesn't fit. And you have a head coach that you might want to argue is the worst coach in the history of the WNBA. Look what happened when she was in Vanderbilt. Players were dropping out of that program like flies. Like flies. They felt her coaching style was abusive, abrasive, uncompromising. I mean, with the footnote, her legacy at Vanderbilt? Yet I think 9 or 10 players basically turn around and say, we're done, man, we're leaving the program. Which ultimately led to her being dismissed. And then, again, obviously, parting with the university, and then the other coaching stint, and then stepping aside for personal reasons, right? Which, again, that's your business. But you got a head coach that's now starting to put teammates against each other. And that's not good. And you go back to her college days, they were 13-54 in the SEC. I mean, you're losing 3 out of every 4 games. Ugh, that's malo. That's bad. So you're not just losing players, you're losing starters. You lost 2 to 3 of your top scorers. Why? Because of your abusive, narcissistic, abrasive, uncompromising coaching style. And you think you're going to be able to handle a 24-year-old star when you should actually be putting your arm around her, inspiring her, pushing her. You should be doing that with everyone on the floor. But knowing you got the face of the league, the face of your franchise, right in your back pocket, and you're just, picking her up like she's lint. And you're discarding her. Does anyone else have a problem with that? I mean, what do you guys think? Am I off base here? Let me know. If I'm off base, please chime in. I want to hear from you. Let me know where you're chiming in from. It's a Thursday edition on Q. Rich Quinones here. Do you think the Fever will match any offers when CC becomes a restricted free agent next year, just to hold on to their golden goose to mess with Clark? Well, again, I hope she's traded prior too. I do. I hope she's traded. And I don't think that's going to happen. I think the leverage and holding the cards for Caitlin Clark, it's a couple options, right? It's, do I decide I'm going to go overseas? Am I going to talk to some potential backers and maybe the thought of creating my own league? Or do I force my way out of Indiana? And the other issue is, how do we know that this is not going to happen on another team with another coach? Like, that's the problem. I mean, her teammates just, they didn't do anything last night. They left this kid, they hung her out to dry. They hung her out to dry. And you lose to a bad team that doesn't have Kelsey Plum. She didn't look her normal self. She struggled. She was 4 of 12. Like I said, 1 of 6. The shot wasn't falling. But here's the problem. The great players, even on the nights when your shot is not falling, or you figure out a way, I got to get to the line, I got to put it on the floor. Let me absorb a little contact, or if my shot's not falling, I got to do what? If I'm a playmaker, I got to get my teammates involved. Now, she recorded only 3 assists, but I think the lack of production, if we're really being fair, and again, check me if you want to. If we're really being honest here, that was more of her teammates. They weren't doing anything to help her out. None. And that was a horrible look. It was a horrible look. I mean, she set them up multiple times. The end around pass when she dribbled drive in the lane. And this is the problem now. The coach has created, it's not she has created a toxic and hostile work environment and culture. And Caitlin Clark, you can talk about all, relax, Rich. She's got to get acclimated. She'll work out the kinks in her back. It's not going to matter. It's not. You're sharing equal playing time with some teammates who should be on the bench most of the game. That's piss poor. That's piss poor. And I'm telling you, this coach does not care. She doesn't care. What's the worst that's going to, okay, fire. Yeah, fire her. Fire her. And actually, the more I think about it, it's not even about firing her. I want Caitlin Clark out of Indiana because that whole organization from top to bottom is toxic. She needs to get out of Indiana. And that's where I laid it out to start the show. She's already been ruled out of tonight's game against Phoenix. Then why did you even play her last night? Why? Because you wanted to screw her. You wanted to mentally you-know-what with her. And you also knew, let me get a couple eyeballs to the game because everyone's going to sit there and say, she's missed the last couple games. Here we go. I mean, to me, that is mind games, man. That is mind games. You don't do that to somebody. You don't. She does that because it's Mitchell's team. It's not Caitlin Clark's team. Period. I'm telling you right now, period. Reese chimes in, as a black baller, it's racial for me. We've been waiting for decades for something like this. Out of the norm, white girl out there looking like us. Reese always keeps it a little light. I appreciate that. There's got to be, listen, the reasons, like I said, I think we kind of know. Do we not? Let's just be fully transparent. Round hole, square peg. It just doesn't fit, right? It doesn't fit. JK chimes in. The fans want her in Indy. White needs to go. Look at the players in Vandy. They all left her. She's a horrible coach. I talked about it 10 minutes ago. I talked about it 10 minutes ago. But the fans want her. The organization doesn't. That's the problem. Because if that was the case, now follow me. And I believe exactly what you're saying. The fans are fanatical about her and they love the team, but it's a bad watch. If the organization really cared about her happiness and keeping her engaged and wanting to be that franchise player for the next 10 plus years, then the GM should have the stones to fire the head coach. She won't do that. She won't do it. And to your point, which is beyond valid, when she was in Vanderbilt, players were dropping off like flies. So you had to know what you were getting. See, it's a bad fit. Because you knew what you were getting, right? You ever hear the expression, sometimes it's better to dance with the devil than the devil you don't know? I think that's right, but you guys can check me on that. But you know what I'm saying. They knew what they were getting into. Because I know, you talk about her contract, what is it, multi-year, long-term type of investment, right? And there's estimates that, and this is 2024, 3 to 5 years. I mean, do you want to see White as head coach of Indiana another season with Clark on the roster? Because they're not going to allow her to go off. They're not going to allow her to get hers. They're not going to allow her to get her stats, her numbers, to break records. They're not. They would rather. It's gotten to the point, it's almost like spite. Like where for a fact, you should not be in this relationship. She doesn't want to be with you anymore. She's not going to break up with you. And you know that. And you're basically like, well, you know what? I'm not breaking up with you. I'm going to spite you. I'm going to spite you. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to force my hand. Like, it's out of spite right now. It really is. I mean, they've created an environment where she is in a no-win situation. And if anyone has ever been in that type of situation, like I said, it could be a friendship, it could be dealing with a family member, it could be in a relationship, it could be in a marriage, it could be at work, where you know you're in a no-win situation, that weighs heavily on you. It just drains you mentally. It almost breaks you. It really does. And you got to figure out, you got to wake up and you got to have the strength to say, enough is enough. I'm not going to deal with it anymore. Enough is enough. Again, it's so blatant. It's just beyond disgusting. There's nowhere in the league for Caitlin. The league is doomed. Come on, Jordan Johnson, Bird. Start up a new league. The players will come. The league is poison for many players. I mentioned CCL. Go get the backing. You know, Upshot that we talked about, that is more developmental. Like, she would go in there and score 45. She would bring a ton of eyeballs, and maybe she would poach players. The other line of thinking that I brought up with the Upshot League is you already have, now I know where you guys stood. I think Margaret brought it up, or Evelina brought it up last week with the former, or Tanya might have done, with the former WNBA commissioner, you know, one of them at the helm of the Upshot. It is a developmental league. It's not really to compete with the WNBA. It's almost like a minor league of feeder system. But if she goes there and she starts poaching talent, come play for the CCL league, my league, then that's a different story. Or, as we said, overseas. But to your point, the reality is you are trying to fit that square peg in a round hole. And I'll give you the perfect analogy. You ever do the puzzles, right? I mean, you do the 1,000-piece puzzle, and you got to have patience with it. And once you start getting a little rhythm in a groove, then everything seems to be okay, right? And you start to figure it out. But then we've all been there, right? You know, you get that one little puzzle piece, and you think it fits at the end in the corner, and you go like this. And you know for a fact, I mean, when I was a kid, I was like, the hell with this. I got to cut it to make it fit. I mean, just follow along with me for a second. We've all done jigsaw puzzles, right? To pass the time when we were kids. We've all done puzzles. And maybe it's good, you know, for a brain exercise, just for mental, right? But there's always that one piece. You're like, God, you're like, damn, why won't it go in? Why won't it go in? Why? And then you get so That's Caitlin Clark to the WNBA. It's not a fit. It's not a fit. And it's apparent. It's apparent. It is beyond apparent. And everyone that needs to see it should see it. And those that don't see it are just clueless. CC Toronto. CC doesn't request a trade. Sandra Bernal, only coach we know would like CC. That tells you something right there, Kevin. Appreciate the comment, my friend. That tells you something right there. I mean, there's been speculation. There have been rumors, like I said, you can't afford some of these players, and they're going to build around Mitchell. And you can't let Mitchell and or Cunningham walk without getting something in return. You can't. And this team's not going to win anything, and they're not in a rebuild. So it's almost like a little old school NBA purgatory, right? Because they're not Kiki's getting fired up. They're not better than Minnesota. They're not better than the Aces. They're not better than Golden State, right? They just lost to a bad Sparks team that didn't have one of their best players, okay? So they're in trouble. They're in trouble right now. And you can keep going to the games and you can keep enjoying the games, but guess what? They're going to keep screwing around with her and her minutes. They really are. Trade for CC likely involve 3 first-round picks over the next 3 years at least. It might be too much for them to give up. Yeah, I haven't thought of it like that. Good point. But that's something to think about. We can explore that maybe next week. CC was on the verge of a couple triple-doubles, and the coach just pulls her out of the game. That's what I'm saying. It is premeditated. That's the word I was looking for that I finally find it. It's all premeditated. It is all premeditated. They will not allow this girl to succeed. And again, this is just me. This is just me. And I told you, I don't like dropping the F-bomb on the air. It's not what I do, but I get very heated and frustrated. I'm at the point, and maybe it's got to be that family member. Maybe it's got to be that tough love. Maybe it's got to be someone to pull Caitlin Clark to the side and say, hey, enough. Call them out. Flip the script. Call them out. And the real people, the smart, like I said, the astute ones that know her, right? The players, if there are any that respect her, the media, which at this point, you shouldn't really care what people like me say or think. No one should, ever. It's just an opinion. But the smart ones realize, hey, the organization had it coming. This is all on the organization. They had it coming. They made their bed. Let them friggin' lie in it. Period. Period. Request being waived. She's not going to do that. And I don't even think she's going to call him out. And I don't even think she's going to demand a trade because it's just not, it's not her character. It's very easy for us to sit here and say, get out of there, get out of there. And I know, again, I know the fans love her. And what's not to love? What's not to love? And she wants to play for the fans, right? But she shouldn't have to play for that organization. And the GM's not going to fire the head coach, so it's a cynical cycle. It's going to keep repeating itself until one or the two things happen. I'm done. I don't have any joy left, any love for the game. I'm going to go overseas. I'm taking my ball, and I'm starting my new league. That's it. Bama Boy, appreciate the comment. Caitlin needs to stand up for herself and say, I'm done, not playing anymore for this bullshit team. Agree? There's no hole far on it to fit into. She's going against a brick wall. Yeah. All right, so I have to change my analogy. You're right. What did they say? That's like, trying to punch your way through a paper bag. My puppy just said, woof back. Hey, great minds, man. Great minds think alike. If CC did demand a trade, Fever's front office for sure will make her into a villain. Yeah, but at this point, what do you care if you're Caitlin Clark? Make her the villain. Who cares? That's fine. Is she the first player to ever demand a trade in the history of sport? Is she the first player to ever request a trade and then go somewhere and have a long, distinguished, standout career? I mean, I'm watching a head coach last night that purposely wanted to lose a game just to make a point. That's spite. Isn't that the definition of spite? I feel bad for the FIFA. Like, I am a hoops junkie. And I'm a Caitlin Clark fan. And I do like the WNBA. And I love the NBA. And I love college. And I love overseas. I am a hoops junkie. And I appreciate talent. And I like to watch clean. I mean, the other thing is, oh my God, every time I turned around last night, there were like 7 whistles in the first 3 minutes. I'm not even done halfway through my fresh roasted coffee. Show notes, by the way. Save 20% if you check the show notes with the link. But I was like, this is bad. This is a bad brand of basketball. It's not even entertaining. And I don't know. Look, here are your options. If we take a step back, if you believe the GM should step in, let me know. Because if the GM steps in, then that means the first rule of order is what happens. You don't really move the star player, right? You fire the coach. Stephanie White has proven time and time again she's incompetent. There's a level of malpractice. She's a narcissist. She's a bully. She's pitting teammates against each other on her own squad. She's playing favorites. It's Mitchell's team, period. It's not Caitlin Clark's team. She's screwing with her head, which does what? It makes her disengaged, not interested, frustrated. Then when she's on the floor, even when she was healthy and she was in a groove, she would pull her. So now I'm manipulating your stats. I'm lowering your stats. I'm effing around with your stats, which means you're not going to get those double doubles. You're not going to get those triple doubles. You're not going to break records. You're not going to be an all-star. You're not going to win MVP, which also affects what? My friggin' bottom line. And you never F with somebody's money. You don't. You don't. You don't cash. You don't count it. You don't count the chips. You don't cash, count it in cash. You don't. And she's doing all that. That is a dangerous person. Like, that's like a psychotic person. That's a dirty person. You don't want, we've seen it in sports, man. How many times did we see this with these big time college football coaches, right? Over the years, they'll screw players because they have the power, they have the authority. We see it in the NFL, the politics of the NFL. Well, you're sitting there at 956 and you need what? 44 something, 40 plus yards, 50 plus yards, go over 1,000 for your bonus. Week 16, I'm only going to give you 6 carries. You better pick up 8 yards a tote. We've seen it. We don't want you to hit your incentive. That means we've got to pay you. Sports is dirty. It's absolutely dirty. You guys know it and I know it. But the way they're treating her, it's on another level of dirty. And this coach has clearly run out of excuses. It's ran its course. This is the 8th time this season Indiana has allowed 100 plus points. That's the 3rd team in WNBA history to reach 8 games allowing triple digits. That is from my guy, Tony, on X. Thank you, Tony. That's a great stat. And that's a horrible watch. You're ruining the sport. You're ruining the sport and you're ruining this kid. Like, after a while, we can talk about the organization all we want. We can talk about the GM. It's the head coach. And the organization has created this environment. That's all it is. Again, I go back to, it's like you're at a job. You go to the interview, they sit you down, they explain the job description, you show up on a friggin' Monday or Tuesday. This is not what you signed up for. But you still go about your business. You clock in, you clock out, you arrive early, you stay late. The hell with lunch, the hell with the holidays, the hell with the kids' soccer practice, the hell with the meetings, the hell with the PTA, the PTO, the hell with dinner with the missus. You put everything you have into the product, everything you have into work. And this is why everyone says, if God forbid you were to pass away tomorrow, work goes on. You're replaced. We're all mercenaries at the end of the day. We're all on a clock. We're all on a count. It's just a matter of when. That's all. Make the most of it. Make the best of it. But we were not put on this earth. Especially those, and everyone has a certain skill in life. Everyone has something that they're good at. I mean, everyone does. I mean, some of my friends, they're unbelievable with cars. I'm horrible. I'm clueless. But that's their gift. I like to think this is mine. I like to talk. I like to talk sports. I like to broadcast. Everyone has a special gift and a talent. And with that becomes what? It becomes you, right? It's your passion. You live for it. You're energetic. Hell, when I turn on the microphone, I love it. I'll be damned if I'm going to allow someone to take it away from me. And I've had that happen before. And you got to scratch, kick, and claw. And it's not a good feeling. But here's the thing. If I'm not producing, if I'm not putting out a good product, if I'm calling a lousy basketball game or a lousy fight or doing a lousy radio show and ratings are suffering or there's no revenue, then you know what? Maybe I need to pick a different lot in light. Maybe this isn't for me. But I've been doing this a long time. And I like to think I made a nice little niche and a little mark for myself. And I have a nice little body of work. And you guys chime in and I respect it, whether we agree or not. I do this because I love to interact and engage with you guys. But if someone tried to take that away from me just because, or sabotage it, or try to F with me, or try to make me out to be something I'm not, or crush my character, or do anything that prevents me from being in my little bubble, my little spot, I would take exception to it. I would take offense to it. I would take it personal. And I would stand up for myself. And if you're Caitlin Clark, you've got the markability, you've got the branding, you've got the talent, you've got the skill, you've got the backing, you've got the money. Call them out. Call them out. Because at this point, what difference does it make? In for a penny, in for a pound. Right? Thank you, someone who gets it. Stop making excuses for this failed organization. Oh, look at this. Thank you very much. We love the subs. I got to start doing either a thank you Thursday. Now, Friday, I add a new segment in, so definitely check that out. And oh, by the way, if you guys are just tuning in, Rich Quinones here on Q. We're also on SR 1029 FM, The Game, Odyssey app. Later tonight, 8, 9 o'clock Eastern time, we're going to switch to NFL. So we're going to talk a little NFL with my guy Lloyd Vance, our NFL insider. So definitely keep the subs for that. But thank you so much. Livewire Sports Media, I like that handle. Canna Sing Times in. The owners and Larry Bird just step in. Mr. Indiana, right? Adam chimes in. Appreciate that. White is trying to show up CC. It's Adam. It's past that, my friend. We're well past that. This is not even. It's not even showing up. Is, when we're sitting there on the blacktop or the playground and you're crossing somebody up and then you're mouthing off to them. You're yapping a little. This is not even showing up. White is trying to break Caitlin Clark. The organization is trying to break Caitlin Clark. The WNBA is trying to break Caitlin Clark. The haters out there, which she doesn't give a shit about, they are trying religiously to just break the will and the spirit of Caitlin Clark. That's what makes this so just disheartening, upsetting, disappointing. I get very angered by it. If you tuned in the first hour of the show, I came on, I said it's sabotage, sabotage, sabotage. You watched that game last night, you can't explain to me the minutes breakdown. You can't explain to me some of these role players. You can't explain to me having other guards on the floor. You can't explain to me the fact that her teammates didn't bail her out. You can't explain to me White with this 50-50 BS challenge, but when it comes to Clark, won't even think twice about challenging a foul. It's horrible. The league right now is a joke. You got the golden goose. I'm giving you free money, which never happens in this life. You got the golden goose, and they're shitting all over it. And they don't care, which tells me, how do I take you serious? How do I take you serious? I get so many people that hit me up, and they're like, Q, we're not watching it anymore. We're not watching the first 5 minutes of that game. And I told you, I was excited, doing a little double dip, put the little pup to bed, got my prepping done. I got broadcast to do this weekend, got overseas hoops to call. Later on in the week, I had my notes going. I had the double dip watching these games. I was excited. The first 4 to 5 minutes, the quality of play was horrible. It was horrible. I mean, whistle, 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 whistle. Whistle, whistle. Caitlin and Kelsey averaging 15 shot attempts per game. You talk like Caitlin, don't get her shots. I never said that. I never ever said that. So again, don't be that guy or that girl or that person. Never said that. What I said was, if you tuned in for the last hour plus, last night she played how many minutes? You do the math since you're on it. She played 15 minutes? She's not playing tonight. If that was the case, don't even play her. It's not about shots. And when she gets her shots, she friggin' scores. So you can't sit there and say, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes last night, and she shot poorly and had a couple turnovers. She didn't play well, but she was never on the floor enough to get in a rhythm. Her longest stretch on the floor, my friend, was 3 minutes and 10 seconds. On what earth can someone get hot and get in a rhythm on the court of basketball? If that's your longest stretch. Come on, stop. I'm not going back 89-90, Vinnie Johnson coming off the bench for Detroit in 5 minutes, scoring 6, 7, 8 points. I'm not. The coach is doing this on purpose. Period. She's doing this all on purpose. Now, I can appreciate your comment, and I appreciate you chiming in. I just don't wholly agree with it because I never talk about her shot selection or the number of shots. I mean, we can go down that rabbit hole if we want, but I can also turn around and say, why does the coach bench her when she's in a groove? Look, Mitchell's a good player. No one's sitting there saying Mitchell's not a good player. Mitchell's averaging 22. Clark averaging 20. Mitchell's also played in 3 or 4 more games? She's a good player. She's a great player. I'm not taking anything away from Kelsey Mitchell. She's a hell of a guard. I like her game. I like watching her play, no doubt. But she doesn't get benched when she turns the ball over. She doesn't. Caitlin Clark does. You watched that game last night. Why did you even have her play? You think that's better for your back, playing for 2 minutes and going to the bike, than going back for 3 minutes and going to the bike? That's the worst thing for you. That actually compounds the problem. Like, what kind of trainer? What certification does this guy have? And Hel chimes in. Sorry, this is all on CC. If she can't speak up, then she will see her career go down the toilet along with losing fans. I don't put this all on the organization coaching. Magic demanded a trade. Magic demanded, you know why Magic demanded a trade? Because Magic early on in his career, a couple bumps in the road, and this is after he won a championship, by the way. Because Magic had his playoff blunders, if you remember. Yes, you're 100% accurate that Magic Johnson demanded a trade, but there was no way they were going to do that. That was a public trade. That was in 81 because he couldn't get along with Westhead. Because Paul Westhead, God rest his soul, that was not Showtime Lakers. It was a slow pace. And remember, too, they won the championship prior to. I mean, you got to go back now. They won the NBA championship 18 months prior to that. They beat the Sixers, but it just came unraveled and unhinged. And you remember the 30 for 30 or whatever the docs were. It was after that game. I don't know if it was against Houston or Utah. And that spelled the end of the head coach of Westhead. Because remember, Pat was doing television. And then, okay, here we go. Let's bring him in. And the rest is history. Showtime was created. But I know what you're saying. Where I will agree with you and where your comment is correct, she has to speak up for herself. But I don't think it's her personality. And then what do? I started the show off by saying this. I would come out and publicly rip the organization. That's me. That's my personality. That's just how I am. Because at this point, I've done everything for you. I've done everything for the league. If I'm Caitlin Clark and I'm looking at why should I stay? Why should I go? Okay, this is what I've done. I've created boom, 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 boom. Ratings, broadcast rights, big time deals, merchandise, eyeballs, the list goes on and on. Maybe I'll stay and I'll keep benefiting from this. Oh, by the way, but I'm not. So now let me look at why am I going to go? Well, I've done everything that I said I was going to do. The eyeballs, the ratings, the fans, the records, the stats, win some games, go about it the right way, be a mentor, inspire, community, everything you need me to do, help brand, ambassador, and you still don't appreciate me. Come on, we're all human. We're all human. Put yourself in that spot, relationship, job, you're walking. It's just, how do you do it? That's all. I think it would be better if Cece got traded, but how before her fans are looking to get the coach fired. So the trade deadline in the WNBA is right around the corner. August 3rd, I mentioned. After last night, and she came out and she talked about the frustration and how the minutes were allocated. See, that's the biggest, along with so many, that's the biggest gripes that I have. The allocation of minutes. I want to get to some of these comments too, and you guys are unbelievable today. Sportsfan chimes in. Sportsfan16 chimes in. Q, great job nailing it on White back in Vanderbilt. She was beyond toxic. Coach Kenny chimes in. Q, you nailed it again. It's Mitchell's team. There's no place for Caitlin Clark at all. Purdue apologist chimes in. Loving the show, Rich. I know when they go back to back, Stephanie White has played 10 different players in the first quarter. That absolutely makes no friggin' sense. Ian chimes in. Everyone wanted sides fires. The grass isn't always green. I'm sure everyone wanted the next coach fired too. It's always someone else's fault. Again, the player didn't play well, and she's human. So sometimes players have off nights. I'm not dismissing that. What I'm saying is you're dealing with the back issue. If there's load management, there's load management. Don't trot me out there for 2, 3, 5, and 6. And then my longest stretch is 3 minutes on the floor. To me, that makes no sense. You're doing that on purpose to make a point. That I have a problem with. That's all. And like I said, it's not about shot selection, guys. It's not. And I know last week we went down that ridiculous rabbit hole because that's what we do on the air. You guys are free to comment as long as there's no hate and just, any threats. I don't care about me, but I'm saying with everyone else that comments and engage. So we know what plays into a lot of this, whether we don't want to talk about it, right? Because you bring the narrative, black or white. You also bring a narrative. Well, is it because she's a very good player that happens to be straight? I don't know what's what. I told you guys this from the get-go. If you listen to me for years, I don't care black, white, yellow, green. I don't care straight, gay. I don't care. What you do outside, that's your business. As long as you're not hurting or harming someone. I appreciate ball. And ball don't lie. And what I'm seeing right now, it's factual. The truth is, this coach is going out of her way to sabotage this player. The league is going out of their way to sabotage, to make it so she can't succeed. The ownership, the GM, if the GM had any stones, she would have fired this head coach. Now, does firing the head coach, is that always the solution? Not necessarily, but I've seen enough. I've seen enough. I'm looking at the rotations, who she's benching, who she's placating, who she's putting her arm around, who she's not putting her arm around, what she's doing to Caitlin Clark at the end of the day. It's malpractice. It is causing a toxic culture and work environment. She did the same shit in Vanderbilt that forced 9 to 10 players, 2 or 3 of them were starters, to leave. It's why she only won 13-something games in the conference. She's not a good head coach. She's a bitter narcissist, and she's taking it out on the face of the league to the point where the face of the league and Caitlin Clark has to decide, am I going to take my ball and go home and have everyone say I can't handle the heat? Am I going to start my own league? Am I going to go overseas and take my shot there, where we also know it's political, but she's got enough money, she should be able to hold some of the cards. The problem is that big card, that big ace up the sleeve, the organization holds, because they're doing this with her right now. They're dangling her around like a puppet, and now this coach, when you start to play favorites like that in a league that's already full of jealousy and pettiness and immaturity, then players start to play against each other, not as a unit. They just don't. How many times do you see Mitchell go ISO and just kind of, come on, man. You got to play as one. Some of you guys mentioned that the Magic wanted to get traded, that Showtime Lakers. Yeah, well, guess what? When they were running the fast break, he was looking all over. He was dishing all over. Now, it helps you have wall-to-wall Hall of Famers. You're playing with the McAdoos and the Nixons and the Kareems and the Worthies, right? And the Scotts and Magic. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. If we want to take this league serious, the league needs to take itself serious. And they're not. And that's why people make fun of the league. That's why you had those guys on X that were betting every single night Angel Reese's first shot was a miss. Right? They cannot let Clark play full games. If they did, she would break 90% of all WNBA records, and we know they cannot live with that. Bingo. Bingo. There you go. It's the elephant in the room. It really is. It's the elephant in the room. They do not... But isn't that an example of not wanting her to succeed? It's almost like having a business and someone sits there and says, like for instance, right? So like all the years I've done radio, over 20 plus years of doing radio, I've also done accounts. I've done marketing, on the mic, everywhere I've gone, but I've also sold. It's like when I would call these local stores up, hey, you want to do a little advertising, little 30, 60 second opening billboard, little digital ad, little shameless plug on the air. I'll give you a pop. We can do promo codes. Hey, I'll mention the business during halftime. It's brought to you by, it's powered by, whatever. Nah, not, get good. Obviously over the years, I have my businesses that keep re-airing with me in advertising, but you always get those places they're like, nah, we don't need any more business. I've never heard. Name me one business owner that has ever said, we don't need any more business. You don't want to make more money. You don't want to retire early. You want to take care of your family. You want to take care of your employees. And that's what the league's doing. We don't want her to break records. I mean, imagine she's with this team for 10 years. They're winning championships. She's breaking records, right? They have a statue built. She's a Hall of Famer. Doesn't that make the organization look like, hey, it's a top, rated top tier organization, and they're doing the complete. I never in my life, like, it's like a fear of success. Like, you're in a nice relationship. You're with a good-looking girl. She's charming. She's funny. She likes sports. She likes movies. You guys go out. You vacation. But for some reason, you find this little flaw in her, and all of a sudden, you're like, I don't want to be with her anymore. It's like, what are you doing? You got something great right in front of you, and you're taking advantage of it. You're going to be alone. You're going to be by yourself. Not good. Did anyone say she was Magic Johnson? I don't know if that's Jessica chimes in. I don't know if that's no one said she was Magic Johnson. You can pull my hoops card if I said that, which I didn't. The reason Magic was brought up is because a commenter mentioned even Magic wanted to get traded. So I kind of got to check you there, J-Dub. WNBA won't let that happen after what they saw. But I will say this, that rubbed people the wrong way the other day, but it's factual because even Sonny Vaccaro said it. Knight dropped the ball. Why would you think I said Magic? She was Magic Johnson, goofy clown. Knight dropped the ball. Even Sonny Vaccaro said it because you knew what you had in Caitlin Clark in college. Nobody knew what Michael Jordan was. Michael Jordan wasn't Michael Jordan when he was in North Carolina. We knew he was a great player, but wasn't on the level of Caitlin Clark from a markability and branding standpoint. Don't hear what you want to hear. Michael Jordan has a shot in the corner against Georgetown. And as I said, if Freddie Brown doesn't throw it away to James Worthy and Georgetown comes back the other way and they win, I don't know, is Michael Jordan still Michael Jordan? Who the hell knows? But they dropped the ball because the shoe, slow to get it out there, to market and promote. They lost out on a lot of millions, which hurt her financially. So they're culpable when you talk about the monies that's potentially being lost. If they don't allow her to be on the floor for significant minutes, then her stats take a tumble. Her production drops, which means she's going to be the 11th best player in the league, which is a crock. She's not going to make all-star games. She's not going to hit incentives. She's not going to break records. She's just going to be another nice player. It's all about premeditated, and that's exactly what they're doing. That's all. It's exactly what they're doing. It's all premeditated. And if you guys can't see it, if you guys and girls can't see it, then I don't know what to tell you. It's factual. That's all. Caitlin can never be compared to greats. 9 points. Please stop. See, I feel bad. You're just a hater. Do you even know basketball? You're not good. I appreciate the comment. You're not good. You don't know the game. 9 points in 15 minutes. Come on, Jess. Do you watch the game or are you one of those haters? You just don't like her. Come on, we can have a conversation, Jessica. Come on, what are we doing here? I'll give you an L. I'll hand out an L. I don't have a problem with that. Come on, just stop. She's already an all-time great. You're foolish to think otherwise. You're just a hater, and that's okay. You've got your bias. You've got your agenda. Maybe you're on the Fever payroll. Maybe you're part of the organization that's, leaking stuff. I don't know, but stop. If it's not for Caitlin Clark, nobody's watching the WNBA. And you can comment back and forth with me all you want. Yes, I've said it multiple times over the years. There are talented players in the WNBA. There are very good players. The product stinks. Mitchell's a great player. Wilson's a good player. Cooper's a good player. Thomas is she's got great vision, right? The list goes on. Plum, the list goes on and on and on. On and on and on. There's 10 really good, 10, 11, 12-ish really good. The product itself collectively as a whole stinks. But let's not compare and contrast because I'll blow you away with the stats. You're just not a fan of Caitlin Clark, and that's okay. You're entitled to that. You're entitled to that. You don't like her game for whatever reason. I don't know. Maybe you don't like the way she looks. I don't know. The way she wears her hair. The way she talks. I don't know. But you can't sit there and tell me or dismiss what she's done in the league in 3 friggin' years. Just stop. That's being disingenuous. That's all. And you're just hating hate. And you're entitled to that. You're entitled to that. But you're also exposing yourself. If you're going to come on and talk about stats, I can counter that all day long. You want to mention what the coach did last night? You want to mention using 10 players in the first quarter? You want to mention 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes? You want to mention having her go out there on the bike, then come back in? You want to mention her longest stretch was 3 minutes on the floor? Stop. 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 Come on. Just stop. I don't want you to embarrass yourself. We need to take the W out of WNBA, replace it with an L. The WNBA does not represent all women. It shouldn't, but here's the problem, Kirby. The WNBA, it's inclusive. They've made it known. Caitlin Clark doesn't fit the status quo. She goes against the grain. She's the norm. Against the norm, right? She's the contrarian. Nobody likes that. Nobody wants to deal with that. Nobody. White chocolate, Jason White. He was a great player, by the way. He's still like breaking ankles. CC cross between Pistol Pete and Larry Bird. She's a great player. And there are very good players. Where's the Mafia when you need... Look, everyone's entitled to their opinion, right? But it's just, I got to check you, man. If you're going to come and comment and troll for a minute and give me 9 friggin' points, that's ludicrous. You're sounding foolish. That's all. I mean, do you want me to talk about the stretch where she had 24, 26, 26, 26, 32, 19? Nah, we don't want to talk about that. And the defense sucks. You know, those are games I gave you where they allowed over 100-something points. You watched last night, they're down 20. They have a 4-1, and they still missed a bunny. But that's on Caitlin Clark. Look, she's human. No one's saying she created the game of basketball. What I'm saying, and what I start the show off with, I believe, and it's just my opinion, last night just proves my point. It validates my point even more that what this organization from top to bottom, the GM and the head coach are doing, it's a premeditated sabotage. And if you can't see that, and again, if it's another player with that fanfare, that backing, branding, markability, and skill, white, black, yellow, green, blue, I would come on today and say the same friggin' thing. That player needs to force a trade. That player needs to speak up. That player needs to check the friggin' organization because that player is the cash cow. That player has led to millions of eyeballs and merchandise and revenue and sales. You know, it takes money to get in your car, put gas in it, buy tickets, tolls, park, go to a game, buy a program, get food, and oh, by the way, buy merchandise. You're going to tell me she wasn't a catalyst for that? Then I kind of know where your line of thinking is when it comes to basketball or how you view the WNBA, or better yet, how you view her impact on the game. I've never seen a league that is trying to break a player. It's almost, it's beyond sabotage, and it's not blackballing, okay? And I know some people said, no, they're not black, but she's in the league. She's getting paid, okay? She's providing a service. She's got the platform. She's got the venue. So it's not blackballing, but it's clear, it's evident, and it's just a horrible look. I don't know other ways to describe it. Like, I would not tolerate that anymore. And I went through the litany when I came on the air. You can't tell me otherwise. You cannot tell me otherwise. What you saw last night was a blatant disregard. It was premeditated, period. They were not going to allow her to get in any rhythm or rhyme. And again, don't play her. Don't play her because she's not playing today. So what the hell was the point? Why? They used her to get fannies in the seats. They used her to get eyeballs to the game. They used her for people like us to talk about it. You want to go through life like that? No. Stand up. Say enough is enough. I'm not going to deal with this anymore. The WNBA trade line is August 2nd. I look 6 minutes in the first, 5 minutes in the second, 2 minutes in the third, 3 minutes in the fourth. The organization's screwed because, like I said, they're not going to let Mitchell and Cunningham walk next year and get nothing in return. They can't afford it. So they want Mitchell, great player. You want to build around Mitchell, that's fine. Then trade Caitlin Clark. That's your solution. But they won't do it. Offensively last night, stagnant. Defensively, nothing. You give up 106 to a team that came in a drop in 5 of 6. She played 15 minutes, scored 9 points. And oh, by the way, no Boston. So that was an easy path to a win last night. You had no rim protector, no rebounder, no one to clean up the glass. So collectively, you missed a big-time player and you got zero production because you dicked around with your star player. It's straight sabotage. No one can tell me anything different. We can agree to disagree. We can agree to disagree because I don't know if it's any other player. And again, with this level, how do you explain it? Of talent and marketability and everything she's done for the league. The numbers, I went into the revenue last week, the Clark effect, right? The Caitlin Clark. And people hate it when I throw them out because you know why? It's factual. They don't like it. They don't like what she's brought to the table when it comes to merchandise, revenue, buzz, arenas being filled, broadcasting rights, fixing the CBA, negotiating at higher player salaries. That's the Caitlin Clark effect. And if you think she has nothing to do with that, I got to pull your card right there. I got to pull your hoops card. I do. Cece has going to Toronto. That's the only option she has reality-wise. Where else is she going to go? Well, she's not going to be able. Here's the thing. You know, you can demand a trade, but it's wherever they trade you, they trade you, right? Unless we start to get into the no trade clauses and whatnot. But the bottom line is, I don't believe they're going to trade her. That's the problem. They're not going to trade her. Doing this, she does not breach every. We all agree. We all agree. They wanted a savior. Here's the hypocrisy and the contradiction that is the WNBA. Everybody wants the savior to walk into their life. I need someone, save me right now, right? Whether, go to church on a Sunday, pray to the man upstairs, adios mio, whatever. You need the savior. Who's going to rescue me? You got to rescue yourself. She's got to do that right now. And from this standpoint, the WNBA, they wanted that star. They wanted that cash cow. They wanted that golden goose. And they got her. And they had no way of knowing what to do. They were not prepared. The buzz, the intensity, the magnitude, the ratings, the draw, the revenue, the talent, the skill, the commercials, the buzz, the fannies in the seats. The WNBA is fun. It's back. Here we go. They had no idea from a PR standpoint. It's been a nightmare. They dropped the ball. How do you not have Caitlin Clark on the 30th anniversary perimeter poster? What is that? An oversight? You got fire the intern who brought that, and I don't call her Eberbert, I call her Humperdinck, to the commissioner's office. It's flat out hatred. It's flat out sabotage. Period. You can't tell me anything else. Like you said, league was not ready for Clark Serrao. They were not. Joey Colorado, no Phoenix today. Well, I went for the early. Here's the thing. It was a little cooler, so we got the miles in early this morning, right? We got the rounds in, we got the miles in. And I'm not going to say it's chilly nipply, right? But again, a little more loose fitting, a little more lighter with the colors today. But you're very observant. Now, when we're back on tonight, talking a little NFL, I might turn around and we might go back to the sweatshirt. We might go back to the V-neck. I don't know. As long as the NBA keeps on bailing out WNBA financially every year, the WNBA doesn't care about the low attendance, viewership, and losing money, and that's why they're harming their golden goose. So what's the solution? What does she do? What does she do? What can she do? I said it an hour and a half ago. Call them out publicly. Force your friggin' way. Man, I know it goes against everything I believe in. But at this point, call them out. Like, call them out to the point where you're just like, yeah, I'm not happy. I'm not happy with the minutes. I'm not happy with the restriction. I want to play. I want to be out on the floor. I want to be there going to battle with my teammates. I don't know, if there's a disconnect. I don't know. I got to pull my coach to the side. We got to figure this. See, when you say something like that, I need to pull the coach to the side. Or, yeah, you know what? I think maybe it's time I have a conversation with the coach. That sends up the antennas, man. Like, there you have it. And I thought the first shots that were fired across the bow is when she turned around and said the league's got to do better, especially the refs. Treat them as full-time, hire them as full-time employees. Like, you never advocate for the physicality. You never advocate for the hate. You never advocate for the hate messages, all that crap on social, which is toxic, as we know. Because, like I said, there's nothing worse in this world than a fool with a cause and some of these idiot racists out there. You don't death threat somebody for fouling a player. That's just stupid. There's no place in this world for that crap. But that's the world we live in. We know that. Sports are fanatical, right? That's where the word fan comes in. But at this point, if she said it in a certain way, that would stick it right back to the head coach, who, oh, by the way, strikes me as so vindictive that she might be a clean DNP. Like, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. She's going to go out, she's going to honor the contract, and if she plays it out through this year, then I think she's really going to have to sit down and figure out what she wants to do. She has to. Exactly what I've been screaming and yelling about Caitlin Clark. Get the F out of Indiana. And George, I would have repeated exactly what you said, but I already dropped like 7 Fs early. And I typically don't drop the F-bombs. But I did early because I was just so aggravated. CC wasn't known outside fans until the viral moment with Angel Reese. You're talking about college? Is that where we're going? I mean, for me, I watched her in college. I like college hoops. So I followed it. But I think we kind of knew what kind of player she was in Iowa, did we not? I mean, come on. Everyone was looking at her like, this girl shoots all over the place. She's like Steph Curry. Look where she's shooting. Or, Steph Curry in his tournament had his moments, and Davidson scoring 44. She made shooting it from, beyond the arc, mid-court. It made it sexy again. I'm not trying to, because she's a female player. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, man, the girl can shoot. And there's good shooters in the NBA, WNBA. Like, don't think for 1 minute there aren't good players in this league, but the product stinks. You can still be a good player on a bad team. You can be a good player surrounded by bad players, and it just brings down the level of competition. I mean, some of it's bad. They're missing wide open bunnies and layups. That 4-on-1 last night, down 20, they gave up. They quit. Now, is that a lack of desire? Does that fall on the head coach who's so complicit? It's bad. France-Morocco match. What is Q having to eat while watching? France, cheese wins. Morocco. What's going on? Oh, man. I gotta prep for Espana. By the way, that France-Morocco match is not till 4 o'clock. So, what time is it now? It's 12:33 on the East Coast. So, obviously, got to feed Kiki a little lunch and then have her do her little walk, exercise, and tire her out. Plot twist: Jessica's coach. Oh man, I would love to interview. I would grill. This coach she's a clown. She's a clown. And by the way, if you're new to me, I don't care if you're female or male. If you're a clown, you're a clown. Like, I'm sorry. I'm not prejudiced in that far. If you're a jackass, you're a jackass. She's a jackass. She's got her head up her you-know-what. She's a horrible head coach. And we saw it in college with Vanderbilt. Self-sabotage, man. Toxic. Volatile. Making players quit. Having to go to therapy. That's her lot in life. Abrasive. Uncooperative. She doesn't like Caitlin Clark. And I'm the type of person, you get to a point in your life where if you just don't like, just say it out loud. Tell us what we already know, what we're all thinking. We know what you're thinking. You don't like her. George kind of follows what I said last week. Leave the league altogether. Tennis drops. NBA will continue to subsidize the NBA. Clark not needed. It's a great point, and that's why last week, if you check the channel, I said it on demand, she needs to start her own league. That was the one thing I've advocated for. There's a lot of politics too overseas. Now, she's Caitlin Clark, so she's not going to get screwed if she goes overseas. If she was a younger player, you go overseas, you get off the plane, the first thing you do is go right to the gym. You can't unpack. And there's also chasing money, not getting along with play. So there's always something, right? So sometimes the grass isn't always greener, but at least if she goes somewhere else, it'll be green, and maybe you have a couple of little brown spots. It's got to be watered a little bit. It's not going to be dirt. And right now the WNBA is dirt because that's the way they're treating her, like dirt. I mean, the whole system, it's flawed. It really is. It's flawed. It's almost rigged to the point where you can try your best, but you will never succeed. So why even get up in the morning? Well, because you want to keep going ahead. You want to keep forging, right? You want to produce. You want them to know you're not going to get the best of me, right? If you try to kill the king, you better aim, right? So if you're going after him, make it count. In this case, you're going after the queen. She's got leverage to some extent. But as I said, the problem is the league, the organization, the GM, and the head coach, they are dangling the strings, and that is a problem. The GM is in charge of day-to-day operations, roster constructed. They're not in a rebuild. They were a couple years ago. They're not in a rebuild. They've had some injuries. Their defense stinks. The rotations are questionable. The substitutions are questionable. It's a bad brand of basketball. It's magnified when everyone's waiting for the player to get back on the floor and the coach screws her around like she did last night. It's a terrible, terrible look. And defensively, that team is a liability. You can't allow a team to go 52% and then 45% from beyond the arc. That's unacceptable. You don't even see that crap on a Saturday at the YMCA. That's a bad product. She's not fit to coach. She's not. She is not fit to coach. Fever organization, WNBA as a whole, dumpster fire. CC has to leave the Fever and go to any other team. It's easier, and I appreciate it. It's easier said than done. Because my other concern is this. If the league as a whole doesn't respect her, and if her peers don't respect her, what makes us think going to another team is going to solve the problem? Then you're really screwed. You're really screwed. Then it's like the same stuff. Then all of a sudden she becomes a player that was traded 3, 4, 5 times. Then objectively and in fairness, then you start to look at the player, not her surroundings. Now, contrary to rumors and Reddit and social and some of these other goofball talking heads that have absolutely no authority on the subject or sources, they're not shopping her. That's why they basically have come out and said it's all baseless media speculation, because there was thought, send her to LA. If that was the case, she would have stayed there yesterday. The issue, again, dollars and cents. She brings in, or she is, unprecedented financial value, markability, visibility, ticket sales. I mean, it's a great case study. It's also a great case study of how to F up a great relationship. I'm serious. You're with a beautiful girl. You're going on vacations. You're doing the courting. You're going to dinner. You're meeting the family. You're having fun. You're taking trips. And then God forbid, one day, I don't know, the sheet wasn't folded the way you like. Right? You went to go to the bathroom, you realize the toilet seat was down, which it should be, and you wanted it up. Like, you find stupid little flaws that you should be able to bypass, because in the end, you have something really good going on in your life. You have a meaningful, fulfilling relationship, and you're just the type of person that just wants to tweak and find something wrong with it. That person is never satisfied. That's the WNBA. And now they're to the point where they know what they have, but they're so dumb. And I hate using that word. I don't like to say dumb or stupid on the air, but they really are. They're narrow-minded, they're arrogant, they're naive, and it's just dirty. They're ruining this wonderful relationship. There's going to be no marriage. There's going to be no marriage whatsoever. None. And even if there was, or this is the marriage, it's headed towards divorce. And it's going to get ugly. Not, do we split up the dog or the car or the dish? It's going to get ugly. Stephanie White can talk about minutes restrictions all she wants. She's talking out of her, you know what? She shouldn't have played last night if she's not going to play tonight. You used that kid last night. That's all. You used her. Everyone can see it. I don't want to hand out L's. I don't want to do that. We don't like doing that. Nah, I'm not in the first quarter. Not in the first quarter. First half, that's horrible coaching. See who she had as a primary ball handler? She's a horrible head coach. She's a horrible head coach. Come on, guys and girls. Aren't the coaches answerable to everyone? They are. They should be. But if you're in bed with the organization, right? If you have a relationship with the GM, then you're safe. You are safe. Period. All good players. All good players. But they're in trouble. Talk to me if she... Listen, I'll say this. And I know you guys want to go back to social and what happened in college. Or you want to talk about viral this, viral... Listen, timing in life is everything, right? So I respect what Brenda's saying here. Cece got lucky to be even part of a viral moment. She's incredible talent, but her talent is not the main reason she is so popular. 100% correct. She's marketable, right? She is. And whether, again, I don't care what the player looks like, but she seems engaging. She's marketable. She's well-spoken. She's talented. She balled out in college. But you saw what she was able to do. She transcended the sport. And I know people don't like to hear that because people don't like the truth. They want it to fit their narrative. They want it to fit their narrative. But the numbers don't lie. The revenue doesn't lie. White, black, yellow, green, blue. She can friggin' ball. And she's brought fannies to the venues. All these players that are hating on her, do they not realize what she was able to do for the WNBA from a financial standpoint? Revenue sales, league revenue? And people don't like when something's fact. They want to try to, you can't rewrite history. As much as some want to, you can't. That's why it's called history. You can't rewrite it. You can change your history by how you live in the past and your behavior, but you can't look at this situation, Caitlin Clark, WNBA, and you can't tell me packed arenas, massive TV ratings, franchise valuations. And it'll rub people the wrong way, but I got news for you folks. She's a generational game changer for women's sports. You can't tell me she did not help achieve 2.4 million viewers her rookie season. The numbers are staggering. The economic, it's all about dollars and cents at the end of the day. So you're talking about new media, you're talking about new content, you're talking about gaming integration, everything, even from a betting standpoint. The star power is unmatched, the media spotlight unmatched. That's Caitlin Clark. That's the Caitlin Clark effect. So when you say, and I respect the opinion, the league will be fine without her, the league ratings will drop substantially. And it might not be at that, it might not be dramatic. Like if she were to stop playing today, there's going to be a drop-off. Long term is where she can hit the league in the pocket. And that's if she played her cards right. And I don't know how she does that. I don't know how she can do that. I don't. Hey, I mean, you want to get up and down, that's fine. That's fine. You don't like the style of play. I get it. It's not going to be Showtime. I can tell you that right now because their defense stinks. Might be scoring 100. You're giving up 115. How do you comment on someone's comment? I think you got to add them or just throw it up there. I don't know. Margaret. They had Angel Reese on the 30th anniversary poster, not Clark. Figure that out. Yeah, it's not even about Angel. It's just a fact. I don't care who they had. They didn't have her. They didn't have her. It was already getting popular before the moment where Reese viewership numbers of her game before she lived up to high expectations her senior year. Yes. And I watched a lot of her in college, and I was like, man, this kid can shoot. She can shoot. It was so fun to watch as well. Saying her game isn't the reason she's popular is not being honest. Yeah, I tend to agree. I think people don't like. See, but you're not accurate. You're not wrong. You're not right. You're wrong. You're wrong because you didn't. You're a come about lately. That's what you are. If you watched her in college, you knew she was special. Just go ask everyone out in the Midwest. Go ask everyone that was watching her play. I mean, there were nationally televised games. You're going to tell me Angel Reese made Caitlin Clark now? Is that where we're going? I mean, just stop. You just don't want to give credit where credit is due, and that's okay. But you're not going to win this argument. It's not even an argument. It's not even up for debate. I think people hate the fact that it had to be Caitlin Clark. People don't like that for whatever reason. You can fill in the blank. They don't like the fact that she got all the shine and the flowers. But you take her out of the league, and I got news for you. No one's giving a shit about the WNBA, at least over the last several years. And this is coming from someone that watches the league. I love watching basketball on any level. And I see what's going on overseas because I call games overseas. There's markability and branding opportunity for her. You know, these leagues, they pay. Some of these countries, you know, Australia, Iceland, Turkey, you go over in Asia, they'll pay. They'll pay. She will be treated like royalty. She'll be a queen. Now, am I going to sit there and say, go and play in like little small leagues in Tijuana, Mexico? No. Or the DR? No. There's good talent there, but the opportunity to stick it to the WNBA, no matter what, if she decides to leave the league is going to suffer. If people can't see that, I can lead you to the water. I can't force you to drink it. The league ratings will suffer. I've had so many people comment every time we have a show, 95% sit there and say, if she leaves, I'm not watching anymore. What does that tell you? And you might be the rare few that don't care if she's in the league or not. You're entitled to that. That's fine. I'm just giving you my opinion. But my opinion is different from this fact. The fact is, without her and that effect, and whatever, if it makes you sleep better saying the viral moment or what she did in college, you already knew what you had and the league was ill-prepared. And that's why Nike also dropped the ball. Big time. She's undervalued. You can't even quantify really her value to the sport and the league and the basketball and the cultural influence. And there might be a Caitlin Clark 15, 20 years from now. And there are certainly players that are on the rise. I told you it's Mitchell's team. I came on the air and said it. Right now it's Mitchell's team because the coach wants it to be Mitchell's team, not Caitlin Clark's team. That's why I suggested get the hell out of there. Get the hell out of there. That's all. But man, I'm telling you, it's just a tough watch. The coach is not helping her. And I think what happens is if you are in a bad spot, how can you thrive? It's like you're being mismanaged at a job. You're talented, but no one's taking the time to really mentor you, train you, give you all the tools you need to succeed. You're trying to learn on the fly. You're trying to learn it on your own. Now, it's apples and oranges to comparison, but you know what I'm saying? Think of the organization as the workplace. And think of the GM Cox and Stephanie White, the head coach, as your manager and supervisor. Now, picture you're at your job, and every time you need a little assistance, you need a little charity, you need a little equity, you need a little leverage, you want to shine, you're doing well, they sabotage it. You're showing up early, late, you're working doubles, but yet when it's time for your performance review, they give you a C. They nitpick. Or they go out of their way to give you tasks that you can't do. You're never going to thrive. You're never going to succeed. So why the hell do you want to stay there? You allow them to just pull the strings a little bit, or you say, the hell with this. My life's too short. I'm 24. I banked millions. I don't need you anymore. The Indiana Fever and the WNBA need Caitlin Clark more than she needs them. And if you can't see it, you're friggin' blind, or you got an agenda. She doesn't need this league. She doesn't need this team. She doesn't need this bullshit or aggravation. Which makes it more perplexing why she won't step up and open up her mouth. But that's not her character. We know it. The day she takes that subtle shot, and last night she didn't like the rotation, the minutes, she's going to be very diplomatic. But when you sit there and say, yeah, it's frustrating, I'm probably going to have to sit down with coach during the week. Oh my God. I mean, talking heads, their heads will explode. Oh my God, are you kidding me? They will go off. They will go nuts. When you have some former greats even saying, I don't know what the hell her peers are thinking, she's it. That's a problem. Coach isn't going anywhere until the GM makes that decision. And if not, you speak up, you call out the friggin' organization, you call them out. You call them out. You force their hand, or you play it out this season, and then you sit with your family, your circle, your agent, and you figure out what's best. Listen, she wants to play. She's a gamer, man. She's 24. She's got a lot of life left in her and a lot of career. It's a shame that the organization is basically pissing on her right now. It's a shame the head coach is going out of her way to friggin' sabotage her. It's a shame the GM won't hold the head coach accountable. It's utterly ridiculous. They will not allow her to go off. They will not allow her to get double-doubles, triple-doubles. They will not allow her to break records. The league will never acknowledge her as an MVP because they can't stand her. Why? Because, as I said so many times, she doesn't fit what the WNBA is looking for. She is that puzzle piece that, as we were kids, we all tried to cram on the corner. And we kept going like this until we got so aggravated, we just took a scissor and snipped it and made it fit. That's the league. That's Caitlin Clark. And that's where we're at. And that's where we're at. And it's brutal. It really is. It's a disgrace. You got a petty, jealous friggin' league. I mean, my God, if someone comes into my work or someone's like, hey, man, I can do X, Y, and Z. I can help you with advertising. I can put more money in your pocket. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. I'm ready. That's fine. I don't want to keep grinding it. Let's go. I'm with you. Show me how it's done. But nope. Kicking that gift horse right in the mouth. Right in the mouth. Ooh, this is a little rough. Not leaving. Stockholm Syndrome. She doesn't care about her legacy or career. She's weak. I think it takes a strong person to kind of endure the crap she's enduring. I like the Stockholm Syndrome reference. I mean, I know what you're saying, but I don't think she's weak. And I think she cares about her legacy. But I also think she cares about winning. And that is paramount to me. Don't you want a player that wants to be out there on the floor, battling with the teammates, even though the teammates are leaving her out to dry? I think you're undermining her character. Look, all these players have come from different backgrounds. Some of them might have had it a little more easier, right? A little more highly touted. Maybe you get the scholarship. Maybe you had to go JUCO. Maybe you had to put the time in. Maybe you played overseas. Maybe you played lower levels. Then you got your crack at the WNBA. Don't think for 1 minute that what Caitlin Clark has earned or what Caitlin Clark has gotten, she hasn't deserved, because she's earned it. You got to be at a certain level to play in certain leagues. So these players, they all have different stories to tell. They all come from different backgrounds. And some of them have chips on their shoulders. Some of them have an edge, right? Some of them you might perceive as soft, and then you watch them play and they're not. Some of them, we have a tendency, a lot of people have a tendency to start judging the books by the cover. They look at a Sophia Cunningham, they're like, she's a pretty model. She's soft. No, she's not. They look at some of these other players and they're not. Or they look at some of these other players, oh man, look, she's smiling, having a good time. Yeah, but she's a dog on the floor. Like, don't judge the book by the cover. Like, to me, saying someone doesn't care, you can't say a player with that talent and has done so much doesn't care about legacy or career. Because you want a player, and she is the type of player that wants to be out on the floor. You think she wants to get pulled every 2 to 3 minutes? You think she wants to play in 3-minute stretches? You think she wants to go back on the bike and loosen up the back? That's the worst thing for you. She wants to be out there. She's a competitor. You don't get to this level without being a competitor. You don't. Look how LGBT CC, she played golf with them. She was treated like a queen. Promoters won too. I heard she's a hell of a golf player. Or I should say a golfer. I heard she's a hell of a golfer. Pardon me. You know what I'm saying. They have to trade CC. You get back to Showtime, and I think the Sparks will look past all that, given on taking advantage of the situation, and bring Showtime back to LA. Don't you think if they were going to trade her, they would have kept her in LA? I don't think she's getting moved. And I'm going to tell you exactly why as we start to close it out. I don't think she's getting moved because the GM and the owner, basically, they want to own her. They want to control her. They want to make her life miserable. I watch all these games. You can't tell me when you're 6 of 8 and you're stroking it, all of a sudden, I'm calling a timeout. You're going to the bench. It's just, they are manipulating her stats so bad. So bad. And again, as I said, I would say this if it was any other player. It's bad. That coach is just not equipped to coach. You saw what she did in Vanderbilt. She made 9 players quit, 3 starters. She won 13 games in the conference. She's in over her head. And the GM, I don't know, but when you start to turn player against player, teammate against teammate, you start to cause that friction, that divide. That's never a good thing. That's never a good thing. That's a bad locker room dynamic, man. And that's when all of a sudden you start to see, all right, coach is in my ear. Now I go ISO, right? Clear out, clear out. I've seen it. I've called games like this. I see what happens when you have that dynamic. The coach is letting the inmates run the asylum. The coach has no control. Then all of a sudden, you have the 2 good players, the 2 great players, and that's that conflict, that battle. You know, why is she not dropping off? Why is she not kicking when she penetrates? I'm wide open. Why, that extra pass? We're starting to see it, and it's going to get worse. But the GM is not going to fire the head coach. So the only other option is what? Play out the season, take your ball and go home, create your own league, go overseas, or right now, bark, 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 loud as you can at the mountaintop. Get me the hell out of here. Because teams that value her, if there's a team out in the WNBA, and they should all value her because she's a great player, but you know what I'm saying, the perception, her peers don't like her. I don't know what these other organizations, I can't speak to these head coaches or GMs, what they're thinking. She goes to the right spot, she's going to flourish. She cannot flourish under this head coach. She cannot flourish under this regime, this organization, this system. She can't. It's Mitchell's team. They made it clear. Mitchell's a great player. Can't allow her and Cunningham to walk. There's no place for Caitlin Clark. Trade her. Add fuel to the fire. Call out the organization. And if she does, and she gets traded, it'll be an interesting conversation to have. Will it not? Watch the next couple games, right? Watch the next couple games. She loves playing. She loves playing, okay? The problem is you're at a crossroads, okay? You're at a crossroads. So look, I see some of the comments. She's come out and she's gotten on the fans because she doesn't condone any of the hate, the spew, the violence. She's also, to your point, Brenda, and I appreciate you listening and I appreciate all you chiming in. I do, honestly, whether we agree or not. The pressure is now starting to get to her. You start to see it. And what happens when, the pressure, we start to get tired, we get antsy, we get frustrated. I'm not making excuses. I'm not. But I'm just telling you reality. We've all been there. We start to get a little chippy, right? She wants to play, no doubt. And she wants to play in the league. She wants to flourish in the league. But she's in a situation, a spot, I think we can all agree, where she's not going to flourish. That's all. That's all. And by the way, when the head coach comes out, that's head coach speak. When she comes out and basically backs what the head coach is saying, which is coach speak, she's doing it because she does not want to upset the apple cart. She's not. She's not going to do that. She's not. She is not going to say something that's going to be disruptive because then it's magnified because it's coming out of her mouth. That's all. But you can't tell me this coach is suit enough, fit to coach. Come on. I think you guys are doing a disservice, man. You don't understand how much work. You're an All-American, or a McDonald's All-American. You're All-State, you're All-Conference in high school. If you played high school sports, you know. If you played college sports, we've all been there. We played high school and college sports, right? If you went to JUCO, if you went to D1, D2, D3, NIAA, you had to work harder, right? Maybe you didn't get that scholarship. You got to put time in the gym. You got to put time in the weight room, right? You got to put time in the field. She busted her ass, like a lot of these players, to get to where she's at. Don't dismiss it. Don't. Because then you're showing your true colors, how you really think. Don't dismiss or tarnish what she's done. You don't like the facts. You don't like the dollars and cents that are factual that for some reason some refuse to accept. For whatever reason, I'll let you all debate that. She is it. She's the face of the league. She is the golden geese, the golden goose. She's a cash cow. Are there players that are coming up? Yes. Are there players that can make an impact like she has? It's yet to be seen. Have they? No. Her impact, it's there. You can't undo it. I mean, these players that are pissing on her, are you kidding me? She's the reason that the CBA, she's the reason you got all pay bumps and raises. Then you got players coming out, well, we're you're not the face of the friggin' league. Deal with it. Check your ego to the side and just ride it out. Play your game. Do you. Don't worry about what's going on. It's just, it's bad, man. It's a bad spot with a bad organization. That's all. That's what it is. It's a good point. I mean, it's like, you practice every day. You're in a gym. You're shooting 1,000 free throws. You're running. You're doing everything you need to do. You play high school. You go to college. You get the scholarship. You're drafted. Number one. Here we go. And then, you burst on the scene and it's you. And then for some reason, someone decides, I'm going to rain on your parade. That's exactly what the league is doing. All right, let me rip through these. Angel Reese made C's popular just like that rapper. Oh, hang on, what's her name? Oh, that's right, Kanye. Margaret, coming strong. Margaret. WNBA needs to make sure they market CC correctly. They failed at that up to this point. It's baffling how they don't treat her like Air Jordan of the league. Sonny Vaccaro, Mr. Nike, said it. More marketable to some extent than Jordan was, and they dropped the ball. Think about that. Think about that. She's fine. She's still developing. She can't develop in the system, though. Come on, you know that. She can't. Her game is predicated. She's a shooter, man. She's a creator, right? She's a facilitator. And with that, you need a little rhythm. You need a little rhyme. You know this. You watch the sport. She's got to get out there, but you can't keep dicking her around and saying 2, 3, 2, back or no back. I've seen her get benched when she's hot. That makes no sense. needs to stand up for herself. I'm done, not playing anymore. The narrative on that would be crazy. It would. The narrative on that would be crazy, crazy, crazy. Her fans need to allow her to make mistakes and not be perfect all the time. That's fair. Her fans are very fanatical. Brenda, you nailed it. You came back strong to close it out. Yes, because fans are irrational. And some of these fans, I go on these threads and I see what they're saying, and it's goofy talk. I love watching these games, and I'm a fan of a lot of players in this league. Don't get me wrong, but I don't like what the league is doing to her, and I don't like what the organization is doing to her. It's not right. Man, you guys hung with me for 2 hours and 20 minutes, and I didn't take one break. You guys are fantastic. If you like the channel, if you like the show, I'm Rich Quinones. This is On Cue. Subscribe. Even if you don't like what I have to say, hit the subscribe button. We can argue. It's all fun banter. I take L's, you take L's. That's fine. We don't have a problem with that. If you are also, we do a lot of hoops talk, as you guys can see. We also dive into a lot of the NFL later on tonight, 9 o'clock Eastern time. Lloyd Vance is going to join a NFL Insider. We're talking NFC East, NFC South. So if you guys are football fans, but you can always connect with me on social media. Very easy to do. You can get social with me at RichQ on X, at RichQ on IG. I post a lot of shorts on TikTok, at RichQ on the mic. But like I said, the best you guys can do is keep doing what you're doing. You can argue with me for an hour, 2 hours. Let's do it. Let's have fun. Let's debate. Nothing's taboo. We like to go down the rabbit hole. You guys, I try to get to all the comments. You guys were fantastic today. We want to read them all off. You guys can still comment on the video once it's uploaded on demand. It's already live on the channel, and I promise you I will engage. We will go back and forth, but I love the fact that different perspectives and different takes and different opinions, that's why I do what I do. We're going to try to set it up down the road where you guys are going to be able to, believe it or not, to call in, so that should be fun. So it might get a little hot and heated, but you know, your opinions are your opinions, and I appreciate you guys bringing the fire because I only wanted to come on for about 25, 30 minutes today, to be quite honest, because I have another show and then I have to call Hoops Overseas later tonight, but we were on for 2.5 hours, and that's because you guys kept interacting non-stop, right? So unlike the WNBA, I appreciate my golden geese, my listeners, my viewers, my commenters. So I greatly appreciate it. As always, if you like the content, if you like what you heard, if you want to argue with me some more, that's great. But as long as you keep engaging, hit the subscribe button, share the videos as well. My email is also, if you guys ever want to reach out, it's up on my notes, as I said. But the best way to get a hold of me, at RichQ on X and IG, and TikTok at RichQ on the mic, the YouTube channel, as you guys see, at RichQ on Q. You guys are fantastic. If you like some NFL talk, jump aboard later this evening. And yeah, we will be back in the saddle live on a Friday as always. So appreciate you jumping on board. And a little early edition of On Q powered by my good friends. If you like coffee, you can save on me. Fresh roasted coffee, 20% in the show notes. Get ready with tea, 3 Brooks Bourbon, fresh roasted coffee. Played Again Sports, Pliable in Belmar, New Jersey as well. All right, you guys are great. Got to walk the dog. Got to have a little lunch. Got to get a little coffee in my system. But thank you so much for engaging. Let me see, what do we got here? Jordan and other championships, that's the difference. You can't tell champions that a player that hasn't won is better. No one's comparing. No one's comparing. When I mentioned Jordan, I mentioned the markability. You knew what Caitlin Clark was in college. But we're going to explore this a little more tomorrow. NFL later tonight. DB, you missed it. 2.5 hours. Commenters, they were on fire today. They were flat out in it. They were bringing it. They were just letting their voice be heard, letting their comments be heard. Passion, energy, controversy. It was all there on this Thursday edition of On Cue. So appreciate you guys. You guys are wonderful. Lock it in. Hit the subscribe button. As always, I'm Rich Quinones. And again, thanks for tuning in to this edition of On Cue. 9 o'clock Eastern, we'll talk a little NFL on the channel. Until then, as always, be safe, be sound. I'm Rich Quinones. Hasta luego. Buen día.